morning, everybody. I'm sitting up. Yay, I'm out of bed. My hair's looking a little crazy, but that's okay. Um, this is the background that I'm going to try to fix up for my other channel. I'm going to be using this background. I like it. Anyway, I still feel lousy, but you got to keep moving. The only way you're going to get transformed or get better is to keep moving, no matter how bad you feel. You have to keep acting as if you're already feeling okay. It's like manifesting anything. If you want to live in a certain world, say, for example, you want to be an executive and you're not an executive, you're an entry-level person. In order for other people to identify you in your power, you're going to want to dress, act, and talk as if you're an executive. So that way people recognize you as who you are. And that, of course, goes along with surrender, where, maybe you want to be an executive, but Spirit doesn't have that in your plan. So surrender is always a part of that as well when you manifest. Remember, surrender, balance, abundance. And you can check my channel out there. I'll be sharing some information. But I just wanted to touch base with you. I got a few things yesterday. Watch me not be able to find them. I just had it. Okay, that's just wild and crazy. Okay, so anyway, I bought some Evermore. Here it is. I bought some Evermore water, which is $13.88 for 464-ounce bottles, and they're a pH of 8.8, which is an extremely high alkaline pH, which will help to soothe your stomach. And it's also, it's very, very healthy, oxygenated. It's, just helps to bring your pH to more alkaline, which is going to help your balance in your body. Now I got chamomile essential oil. It's a little tiny bottle, but you can use it for a very long time. This is the chamomile essential oil that I got, and this is the coconut oil that I'm using. Oh, this doesn't have a mirror option. Bummer. Anyway, this is the coconut oil that I'm using. The coconut oil, this is Simply Nature. I get it from Aldi. Pretty cheap, but as you can see, the coconut oil is, when it is in its cold state, it is pretty solid. So when you mix essential oil with it, you can do it in like little glass or plastic. I prefer glass, but in little containers, and you can make them into things that you can put salve on your face, and like I put some on my pretty ugly boo-boo last night. So this is the essential oil. Now this is the Evermore water. I hate that it's not a mirrored option on this camera. We're going to have to figure that out because I don't like this. The Evermore water, this is shape. It is a plastic bottle. They don't offer anything else. It is a USA-based company. It's BPA free. It is kosher. How would water not be kosher? I don't get it. But it is what it is. It does have 16 milligrams of sodium, and it has 8 servings. So if you drank the whole bottle in a day, you would be looking at 108 milligrams of sodium in that. But it does have what it is. It is alkaline aquifer. that it is accessed to supposedly to bring the water to us. It has natural electrolytes, minerals, and it tastes great. It's better water. It's $13.88 for four, like I said, on Amazon.com, and I'll post that information on my site. So you can just click that link and order directly from my Facebook page, facebook.com/Tisha Transformed. Right. So anyway, I did some research last night. I'm researching the Ayurveda, right? But I'm also researching some other information because, I do take several medications. And what I won't, tell you exactly what medications that I take, but I'll tell you this. I printed out all this information to take to my doctor tomorrow because, I have these all over horrible body cramps and muscle weakness and pain that has been getting increasingly worse throughout the last few months. And of course, I've been ill off and on for a whole year. So I'm reading on one of my medications. I decided to, the doctors tell me, don't look up the side effects, then it'll create the effect in your mind, blah, 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 whatever. So finally, I'm like, I'm over this. I feel like this is pharmacological. You can't just be a healthy human and then be fine and then all of a sudden be sick and have taken medication and suddenly you're sick. So, let's put two and two together, everybody. It's not that hard. So basically, I found in using drugs.com, looking up side effects for the medication. I don't have any cabbage this morning. I've got to go juice it. So I have no children at home to source their assistance. So I've got to go take care of that. One's at work, one's at school. So anyway, with one of my medications that I take, it happens to be for blood pressure. And I've taken probably every blood pressure medicine on the market right now because every single time I try to take a blood pressure medicine, I have a bad reaction. And it could be swelling up like a huge toad, dizziness, double vision, staying up all night. Each one I have a different response to. So, and as you can see, my stomach is getting uncomfortable from sitting up already. So what this says in my blood pressure medicine, I won't name the type because I don't want to get sued by Big Pharma. After 3 weeks of therapy, this test subject developed progressive myalgias, which is, your cramps. Got flies everywhere. Asthenia, which is muscle weakness, and morning stiffness, and with no abnormal lab values, which is exactly what I'm struggling with. Every time I go anywhere and I'm like, I can't walk, I can't move. Every time I roll over in bed, I have a Charlie horse for 5 minutes. I am debilitated. I'm basically becoming a 100-year-old woman, and I'm 49. And they all look at me like I have 6 heads and cock their head and tell me I'm anxious and go away. So, basically they don't know I guarantee you that if you see a doctor and they write you a prescription, you ask them what side effects that you could expect from this medication, they're going to poo-poo that question and just be like, oh, it'll be fine. Or they're going to tell you like a couple. Now, if you look at, and everybody's different. Everybody's body is going to be different. When I was younger, I could take any pill and not have a side effect, But ever since I took that one medicine that is a black box drug, and I won't name that either, it was a black box drug, and it was being used off-label for sleep, but it is a highly dangerous antipsychotic medication. I am not psychotic. Now, I may act like it sometimes, but I'm not. But this is think this is the major. All right, this is just a short list of the side effects on this particular medication. I'm going to get a mirror on this one because I can't stand that you can't see it. But this is the list of the side effects, okay? That's not too bad. But the list of the side effects happen to have one of the medications that I also take to keep my potassium from dumping all the time, which it has been doing, and I have to go to the hospital and get my potassium pumped up because I can't take the pills or the liquid because it burns my stomach and blah, 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 blah. What I found, though, is that this person, there's another case study where the person took the pill, that's a water pill, that they gave me to help my potassium to stay up, and this enalapril together created severe abdominal pain and upper abdominal tenderness, hyperamylase, which I don't have, which basically hyperamylase and hyperlipemia are both altered liver function tests. I don't have that, but basically they did abdominal testing, found nothing. She was having signs and symptoms of pancreatitis, but everything was normal, and this is what I have: pain in my lower left quadrant the most, and then I have pain in my upper right quadrant, and upper right or left quadrant, and it's burning and it's tingling and it's making my stomach numb and it's just miserable. And all my tests come back normal. Well, guess what? If you take this particular drug for a water pill to help keep your potassium up, and you take this other pill for blood pressure, oh gosh, it creates that. All right, so then I look at my asthma medicine, which is a very common asthma medicine that I use in my nebulizer. And these are the side effects. Look, all the little dots right there. So look, all the little dots right there. All the little dots right there. And all the little dots right there. Huge, right? Huge. I take it every day, 4 to 6 times a day. Okay? So, in referencing this, difficulty breathing. It's for breathing. Let's see. These are the more common. The bladder difficulty, frequent urge to urinate, too much information, but I do wear adult diapers now when I didn't before. Less common, body aches and pains. Oh my gosh. Loss of voice, which I'm always complaining that I'm hoarse. Unusual tiredness or weakness. Okay, and that's just the top. Muscle aches and pains, heartburn, indigestion. Hello, I have that. So, and the other one said that too. So then you go to the other the other asthma medicine that I take in conjunction with this one, and you see this is all of the side effects. This is all of the side effects. This is all the side effects. And this is all the side effects. And of course, if you read them, they're going to have the same thing: difficulty breathing, swallowing, hoarseness, noisy breath, redness of skin, which I have redness all around my neck all the time. Don't know why. Shortness of breath, tightness in your chest, anxiety, muscle pain or cramps. Go figure. Take it 6 times a day. Okay. So, oh, my stomach is getting very painful. Okay, and I can't move as much as I am because my stupid ribs. It's the second day after I fell for the second time. Let me just tell you something. Okay, this, cracks me up. Okay. right, this is the anxiety medicine that I take. This is freaking scary. And I've already weaned myself off most, but I'm going to have to go down further. Okay, this is a list of side effects. 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 And that's the end of it. Okay, so here's what I'm trying to show you guys. Now, people say, oh, I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. There is no test for fibromyalgia, okay? There is no test. When they've run every test known to man, they've determined you don't have rheumatoid arthritis. They have determined that you don't have lupus. They've determined that you don't have any other autoimmune disorder that they can test for. When they've done everything that they can do, they send you to excuse me. They send you to a endocrinologist. I can't remember. And he says you have fibromyalgia. Because he presses on your neck like really hard with his fingers, it's gonna hurt. But because your arms are weak, because you have cramps, because you have this. Okay, so I always say, and I'm diagnosed with it, and I'm not against people who accept that diagnosis. I'm not saying that it's not true, but here is my experience with fibromyalgia. Every person that I know of that has fibromyalgia prior to being diagnosed with fibromyalgia had a list of pharmaceuticals that they were taking, were or have taken. And it usually isn't a small list. It's a pretty big list. And then what happens is suddenly they're struck down by this horrific disease that causes, cramps and skin pain and all these horrible neurological things happen to you, and fatigue and all kinds of nutty stuff. And here's, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a neurologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm just a normal, everyday person who is struggling with illness and is struggling with the medical community and the ridiculousness that I find in doing research in regards to, what I'm going through and people's inability, doctors' inability, the medical system's inability to give me answers that I need. So basically what I see with fibromyalgia is that, okay, on one end you have people that are taking medications and maybe they need them, some people have anxiety, some people have, this, that, the other, and they need to take these drugs. But then you look at the list of side effects, which include muscle. Every one of them says muscle cramps, muscle pain. People say, oh, well, it's 1 in a million times, you're going to get the muscle cramps, and it's unlikely you're going to have those side effects. But somebody has them, because typically these side effects are determined primarily, first off, by a clinical trial. And in the clinical trial, they have a very small, limited group of people that they do their clinical trial on. It's not tens of thousands of people, it's a few hundred people. And out of those few hundred people, this is what they got using a placebo and using the drug. So basically what they found and what they've reported to the FDA is this is the type of side effects that we were able to create in a lab setting, in a controlled setting. So if that was what happened in a controlled setting, and it always says at the bottom of the thing, these are not all of the side effects that could happen, because after the drug is released to to everyday humans and the population at large, because we are also very different, we're special little snowflakes, and we're also different, and our chemical makeups are also different based on our diets, our movement, our stress levels, our genetic makeup, you name it. We may have different reactions to it. So as the drug is on in the marketplace for a long period of time, you then get the reports. There's a number that you can report to the FDA if you're having a reaction that is different or even the same, so they can validate it as what's listed on the side effects. And so basically, what you're looking at is these side effects happened to someone. So chances are, if you're having that side effect, it's real. You're not making it up. And you are having a response to the drug. Your body doesn't like it. So basically, you have to find something else. Or you have to look into something else, maybe holistic medicine or food for healing or yoga or a combination of all three or something that is going to change what your situation is so that you don't have to be on these drugs that are causing these side effects. And the doctors get frustrated when me say every drug has side effects. Well, then why are we taking them? You know, I don't want to continue to be progressively myalgic. I don't want to walk with a walker. I'm 49. It's stupid. So, I don't have a serious disease. I am pharmacologically challenged. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm pharmacologically challenged. That means I trusted the medical system at large, and I trusted that what the FDA said is safe for me, that I was going to be able to take, and I was going to be okay taking it. And I trusted that the pharmacy and the doctor where I got those pharmaceuticals were aware of any interactions that could happen or any multiplications of symptoms that would cause even more of a likelihood of an issue happening, and would notify me of my right or option to take or not to take that drug. Now, look, I understand that there are certain circumstances where you have to take medication. I mean, I'm kind of there with my blood pressure. It's really, really high when I'm not taking blood pressure medicine. Even when I was skinny, it was high. So that's something that I'm going to have to work with Ayurvedically to find out, how can I adjust this other than movement and all of that. Herb wise, how can I safely address it? Because at this point, I've made a statement that I'm going to ditch the healthcare system. Now, I will utilize the healthcare system for lab work and, for, basic checkup to see if what I'm doing is actually working. But I'm not going to partake as soon as I can wean off of these medications. I am not going to partake of their medications. Now, if I need a serious operation and there's no other way to fix me in an emergent situation, sure. But on a daily basis, the drugs that I am taking are not beneficial to me. They, obviously, as you can see, I've gained 120 pounds in a year from taking steroids. And I want to show you, I'm going to figure out a way to post the pictures here, but I want to show you what I look like 2.5 years ago, as opposed to what I look like now. People are like, that's you? Yeah, that's me. So this is the reason why I am working towards moving away from pharmaceuticals and moving to a holistic, plant-based healing regimen using Ayurvedic practices and other holistic practices. Because, and I'm not saying that anybody else should do this, so don't get all upset. I am saying this for me, for my transformation. I have found that as I have aged and after I took that 120 pound one crazy ass drug that the doctor said would help me sleep, but instead wrecked my life. I am very hypersensitive to medications. So now we have to find an alternative. That's what you do. Something doesn't work, you figure it out. I wish I'd figured it out quicker. And then you move on. But when you're desperate and you're afraid, you typically want to trust the people that have gone to extensive lengths of training and are supposed to be there to protect you. But it's not like it was in the 1950s, the 1940s, and before that. You don't have your town doctor that births all your kids and takes care of all your ailments. And we also have a lot more complicated ailments now because our food is chock full of chemicals and preservatives and antibiotics and God only knows, you name it. And of course, our world has become so much more stressful. That stress, I believe, is the number one component for illness. I'm reading an amazing book right now about Ayurvedic medicine. I'll share it with you on my site as well. Basically, as I'm reading, I'm just agreeing and agreeing and agreeing so much with how disease progresses and where it starts and what the root of where the root of the disease comes from. And generally stress and not taking care of our bodies and not eating appropriately and mindfully and not just living a mindful life, a surrendered life, a relaxed life is what's causing us to be ill. And I know it's hard to be relaxed when we live in the modern world, but if you're ill, you have got to find a way to find balance between your work life or your career life and your home life and your personal ability to explore the world and explore spirit and have a spiritual connection or life. It all has to blend. So in order to be healthy, all things have to be in order. Your spiritual life, your mental life, your thought life has to be in order. Your exterior world has to be in order. Your eating has to be in order. So everything has to fall into a certain flow. And you don't have to be, it's the one thing is like people like get information like this or they read something and suddenly like that becomes their stress. I'm going to diet, and then they eat a piece of cake and then they stress out for the rest of the freaking day because they ate a piece of cake. You have to be able to experience life and use the RAIN technique, recognize, acknowledge, identify, and then or investigate, and then non-identify. So what? It happened, big deal. We're getting past it. And that's the way you have to deal with pretty much everything. So, moral of this story, it's only a 28-minute video today. Moral of this story. Be aware as a consumer of what the pharmaceuticals that you are ingesting for whatever issue you have are capable of doing to your body. And if you were in a state of being prior to taking a pharmaceutical, and suddenly you're in a completely opposite state of being after taking that pharmaceutical, please consider the fact that it might be the pharmaceutical that is causing the symptom, not another illness. And that's the thing with Western medicine. Western medicine treats symptoms. They don't treat systems. So you go to the doctor and he doesn't know you, like he doesn't remember you. He may remember your name, but he read your chart before you got there. So you don't even know if he remembers your name. So you go to the doctor, go in the waiting room, sit down, doctor gets your chart. He looks at, like, 2 seconds, looks at your chart, blah, blah. Okay, what's wrong with you today? Well, I have this pain right here. Okay, well, let's palpate it. Okay, it's soft. Don't feel any problems there. It's hurt when I do that. It's hurt when I do that. Okay, let's order an x-ray, or let's order an ultrasound. Okay, great. Next day, next week, today, whatever. You go to the ultrasound. They do the ultrasound. Get the results back. Hey, everything's fine. Or you get the results back and they say, everything's fine. But you know what? Let's go ahead and give you this. And they give you a drug to take care of your symptom. Well, what the doctor didn't look into your chart and recognize, even though they ask you what drugs you're taking, is that the drug that they put you on 3 months ago has a side effect of causing upper abdominal pain. So instead of recognizing that pharmacological faux pas that they made and altering their approach to your illness, they give you another drug to cure a symptom that they created with a pharmaceutical that they provided to you. So it's basically a vicious cycle of one drug that I talked to a lady. They tell you to bring in your drugs when you come into the like low-income people clinic, okay? And this lady had 3 bags of medication. She's old, okay? Old lady. I mean, this chick is going to live to 1,000 if she gets off the medication, because she's so strong from being able to take the medication. Holy crap, right? I mean, she's got like 3 bags of medication. I'm not talking, 3 little bags. I'm talking 3 bags like this big, full to the top of pill bottles. How can you even take that many pills in a day? There's not even that many hours in a day. And I'm not kidding you. So if you take and break down all those side effects of all those drugs and all those symptoms that they're creating and supposed to be helping, and you take her off, she could probably go off 3/4 of those medications. But doctors don't look at the list of medications. Sometimes they do, but they're not concerned. And they're not considering, I don't feel personally that most doctors today are pharmacologically trained. They know, body systems and what hurts when you do this and what hurts when you do that and what tests you need to run to find a problem. But that's if your body is pristine clean. That's if, you run this test if they're not on 15 drugs. There should be a protocol that says, if we're on this many drugs, then we need to look at pharmacological problems that could be coming up here. I mean, even ibuprofen now, they're freaking out and saying, do not take that anymore because it's killing your liver, okay? It used to be a go-to drug. We used to give it to our kids when they had super high fevers. We'd give them Tylenol, then we'd give them an hour later ibuprofen, Motrin. And that would break the fever, but it's eating their liver. So, as we go along, we learn more and more about the body systems, or as I do. I guess this Ayurveda has been around for 5,000 years. Holistic medicine has been in practice for thousands of years. Drink my Evermore water. So, basically, this is not new. Western medicine is new. And guess what? It don't work. The thing is that on the off chance that you have a minor this or minor that, now, open heart surgery, wow. I mean, they've done major things, save people's lives. It's amazing. There are certain things that the Western medical world is good for, but guess what? If you followed Ayurveda practices from the time that you were little, you wouldn't need open heart surgery. If you followed Ayurvedic practices or a holistic practice of any kind, it doesn't matter, it's up to you, but of eating natural and chemical-free and meditating and controlling stress from the time you were little until you're now an adult, you wouldn't need anxiety medication. There are so many things that people say are ingrained in us, genetic, this and that and the other. If we were in an environment that practiced a certain amount or, a full program of holistic medication, or, holistic healing and holistic eating, whole food eating, non-chemical eating, we would not have these issues that Western medicine was created to correct. So basically, if you look at it back from the beginning, we are creating, Western medicine was created to solve problems that we created for ourselves. Now, antibiotics, bang on. That's awesome. But guess what? Chamomile has antibiotic properties. Garlic has antibiotic properties. Honey has antibiotic properties. What's another strong antibiotic? Tea tree oil is an amazingly strong antibiotic property. So we don't have to have a company make a pill for us. Now, in certain circumstances, like if you have syphilis, you want penicillin, right? Okay, great. And I really appreciate that. Who did it? Marie Curie? I can't remember who created penicillin. But anyway, it'll come to me because my brain is like this trap full of crazy information. But anyway, the person that created penicillin, because penicillin saves lives. But we don't need it every week. And we don't need it for every little sniffle. And we don't need it for every little earache. Because there are other natural drugs and foods that we can eat every day that can stop us from having these symptoms. So I'm sorry I said it was a 28-minute video, but I got another rant. But anyway, so I'm sitting up today. I'm in pain, but I am working hard to fake it till I make it. And I'm going to color my hair in a little bit, and I'm going to do some housework in this tragic experience. So interesting watching my kids clean, because they clean a little, they selectively clean. So it's like, I'm going to pick up this, and this, but oh, that's too dirty. So we're not going to pick up that. So they just kind of skirt around it. And then they pile up everything they didn't want to touch, and they kind of shove it somewhere in a closet or whatever. And then as far as the dishes, I don't even want to show you because I have a cabinet above my sink. I came out of my bedroom this morning, and the dishes that came from wherever, my daughter's room, my 19-year-old's room probably, they're almost touching the cabinet, almost touching. And will either of them wash a dish? No. Dishes are beyond them. When my 19-year-old daughter was a little kid, really little, 7 or 8, maybe 6, I was trying to get her to help me do something, and she turned around to me, and she very self-importantly said to me, "Mom, I'm a relaxer, not a worker." Well, apparently she's sticking to it, and she has created this theme for herself that she is a relaxer, not a worker. And the person that I am, and in this physical state that I am in, I don't want to argue. I don't want to scream and yell. I don't want to grab stuff out of their room, and I would literally have to fight them for it because they would fight me for the TVs and the Xboxes and boyfriend visits for my 15-year-old and all of that. So, my thing is I've got to get to a place where I'm healthy enough where I can scrub it down and I can get it to a place where I want it to be. And then I can take a snapshot, and I will literally, this is going to happen. I'm going to take a picture. Okay. And I'm going to take a picture of it clean, inside every cabinet, everything. And I'm going to hang it on the damn wall. And when they enter the room, they're going to look at the pictures. And when they exit the room, they're going to make sure that room looks exactly like the picture, because we're going to go back to preschool at this point with my kids. Because if that room doesn't look exactly like it does in that picture, when they leave that room, they're staying in that room. I don't care if they sleep there. I'm not leaving. I just had it. I've had it. I live in a trash can. I would love to show you, but somebody would report me. Trust me. So anyway, there's Evelyn. See Evelyn? Evelyn! That's evil. That cat is the, come here, Evie. Want to see? Oh, don't bite me. She is the evilest. Look on the screen, Ding Dong. No, look over here. See? That's Evie. Look. See, Evie? You're missing it. She is the most evil cat on the planet. She acts sweet, and she acts like she's going to love you, and then she bites you. And you'll be laying in bed minding your own business. She just attacks you for no apparent reason. It's very interesting. But anyway, I digress. So, I'm glad that I was able to make this video for you sitting up. I'm going to have my background up. We're going to do something with this widescreen, try to narrow it down. I also have Adobe Presenter that I'm trying to get onto this computer so that I can create my own backgrounds. So that's what we're going to try to focus on for the next few days. So I'm trying to get more red with my hair color. Tried it once, didn't work. Going to a lighter color. I must have put it on the bar. But anyway, so hopefully a little makeup, I'm going to try to fake it till I make it. But right now, I need about 30 minutes to lay down to let my stomach go back to a normal feeling. Because right now it hurts so bad on screen. So, have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching Tisha Transformed. I'm glad I was able to share some good positive things with you and to, focus on some issues that maybe you've never thought about. If you're having a problem and you're taking a pharmaceutical, maybe it's not a physical problem, it's a pharmaceutical problem. We can be pharmacologically challenged, and I feel that I am pharmacologically challenged. So we're going to take care of that. You have an amazing day. Thank you for watching. Take care.